Okay. one who breaks down strongholds. You're the one who crushes diseases. God, I thank you that you are mighty, that you are making lives full even amidst hardship. You're healing hearts, God. You're healing bodies. You're healing minds and spirits. We bless you, God, and we worship you. We go before you. We want to enter the throne room. We want to lift up praises straight to you. In Jesus' name.
Restore my faith in hope again. And all I did was pray. And all I did was worship. And all I did was bow down. All I did was stay
God, we pray right now for all those who are struggling so hard today. God, this whole season has been just one constant struggle. God, those who have lost loved ones, God, those who have been diagnosed themselves, God, those who have lost their work, God, or had hours cut, God, those who are working double shifts to try to make up for others, God, those teachers who are trying to do all the work from home, God, so many people are dealing with so many things right now. God, we know we can pause and think about the greatness of who you are. And God, that we're never alone with you, God. You put us in situations and places where we can find that way and find that comfort and find Holy Spirit, you moving through our lives, God. We pray right now that people will see this. They'll see that you are there with them. And no matter what the situation is, God, that we can take that step back and say, it is well with my soul. Have that calming, God, spirit in their hearts right now. We thank you so much. In Jesus Christ's name. Amen. Thank you so much for being with us today, for joining with us during this time. You may be saying, well, it doesn't really feel well with my soul right now with all the different things that are going on. And it's hard for me to sing a song like this right now. Actually, I think this song is perfect for times like this. In fact, if you look at the author of this song, you can see what he went through before he wrote this song. It helps us to kind of understand this a little bit more. First of all, he was a businessman, and he had a lot of land that he owned in Chicago that all went up in smoke with the Great Chicago Fire. He lost almost all of his business during that time. Right after that, his 4-year-old son died of scarlet fever. His family obviously was mourning the loss so greatly that he said, we just need to get out and away from everything for just a bit and try to spend some family time together. And so he got them a trip to go on a ship to go to England, him, his wife, and his 4 daughters. The last minute he had a business thing that he couldn't get out of, and he had to stay in Chicago, and they left and they went, and he got a telegraph shortly after telling him exactly what had happened. And the ship that his wife and his 4 daughters were on collided with another ship and went down in about 12 minutes. His wife was the only one of the family to escape. Of course, upon hearing this, he went out and went to England as fast as he could on a ship, and the captain had heard the news of what had happened with his family, and when they went by that spot in the ocean where his family went down, where his daughters went down to the sea, the captain asked him to come up and wanted to show him that area, and that's actually where he penned the first verse of this song, looking out to see where his daughters had drowned. I want to talk about a time that doesn't seem to make sense to say it's well with my soul, looking at those waters, looking at what it meant to his family and everything that he had lost, but he was able to see something greater. He was able to realize he wasn't alone during this time. He had God, and he had godly friends who were helping him out. In fact, one of his godly friends that were helping him and was a great source of strength throughout this whole entire time was the great evangelist D.L. Moody, who helped to do amazing things throughout Chicago at the time. And so he saw that he wasn't by himself. I can't imagine with him trying to deal with this loss on his own, trying to deal with all those mixed emotions and the hurt and the pain by himself. You see, that's the thing that we can see is that right now people are feeling lost too. Maybe they lost a loved one. I know some that have. And they're saying, well, how am I dealing with this loss right now? They're hearing somebody who's going through it really bad, and maybe they got a bad diagnosis, or they lost a job. They've had some kind of a loss, some kind of a hard time, where they're saying, my soul doesn't really feel well right now. It doesn't feel great. A lot of people are feeling alone during this time, and in isolation, it makes obvious sense how we would feel alone. But we don't have to go through it alone, even though we're feeling alone, because it's not good for our soul. See, isolation for many has gone from waiting to stress to frustration. That frustration all comes from this feeling of being alone. It doesn't matter if we consider ourselves introverts or extroverts. We're all made to be social. In fact, it says this, Genesis 2:18 says, then the Lord God said, it is not good for the man to be alone. I will make him a helper who is just right for him. See, God saw from the very beginning man didn't need to be alone. We are social creatures. We are not created to be alone. So one of the biggest lies is that we have to go through everything alone. To say, well, I have Jesus and that's all that I need, but God's given us more help in regards of us being able to work and lean on each other. We're always better together. I want to look at a verse that just talks about this fact and how we can deal with this great thing and sharing this fact of knowing that we're better together. If we look in Judges chapter 1, verse 3, has this great verse. It says, "The men of Judah said to their relatives from the tribe of Simeon, 'Join us to fight against the Canaanites living in the territory allotted to us. Then we will help you conquer your territory.' So the men of Simeon went with Judah." Now this might seem kind of like a throwaway verse, because it's just talking about different people coming together and getting the land that God had promised them. It might seem like, well, who cares about this right now? Who cares about this when we're going through all the struggles and the hardships in life? Does this verse really speak to it? And I think it really does. See, back at this time, there were the tribes of Israel. There were 12 tribes that were there, and they had all worked together as one to conquer the land, to get the land that God had for them. But then they started to relax a little bit, and they started going into their own little groups. They started to say, well, we'll just take care of our own areas. Well, we're okay by ourselves right now. And that's kind of how they were feeling. They thought they could handle everything on their own. But Judah realizes that they needed other people's help, and they wouldn't allow their pride to get in the way. And I think that's a big thing for all of us to learn, is not to allow our pride get in the way of seeking out help that we need. So the first thing we need to learn when feeling alone is we must stop our pride from preventing us from asking for assistance. We can't allow these things to stop us to saying, well, I can just handle it on my own. It's not too big. Everybody's going through all their own issues. Everybody's going through their own things. Well, yes, everybody's going through things, but we still need to band together. Judah knew that Simeon was going with their own battles as well. They knew that they were having their own struggles too, but they still asked for help. They still weren't too proud enough to say that they needed their help. They knew that if they went at it alone, they would have been wiped out. And a lot of times, if we try to go through our lives alone, we will be wiped out too. Spiritually, mentally, physically, we will be wiped out. I cannot tell you the talks I've had with people who are having troubles with different things that they got themselves into, different sins they got themselves into. Every single time I talk to them, I see one thing happen every single time. It's always in the pattern. They never ask anyone for help. They never said, hey, I'm getting into this. Can you pray for me? Hey, I'm getting into this. Can you talk to me about this? Hey, I'm going into this. Can you help out? You don't see them going through that issue. Or maybe they talked to one person, they didn't follow their advice. They stopped talking to that person, just shut them out, and kept doing what they were going to do. These are the patterns that happen when we don't have this mentality of asking for assistance, and we need to allow ourselves to have that. It's not just sin, but also burnout. That's what a lot of people are dealing with right now. Burnout of the monotonous, burnout of overworking from home, or burning out from working outside and working double shifts and all the other things that we're having to deal with. A lot of burnout is happening right now, and people are dealing with this. We have to realize we're not experts, and we have to feel that we have to have an answer for everything. No one knows what to do in this situation. It's never happened in our world before. So why shouldn't we ask each other for help? Why shouldn't we ask each other for prayer? Why shouldn't we reach out to each other and talk to one another and build one another up, which is what the Bible tells us to do, to build one another. Why don't we do these things? Other people are emotionally wiped out. Sometimes you just need someone to talk to. Sometimes you just need someone to say, I just need to vent, or can I just share something with you? Because again, we're made as social creatures. It doesn't matter what our personalities are. We're made as social creatures, so we need these things. These are healthy things for us to do. And when we don't do them, we realize the mental health problems that happen. I was listening to a famous psychiatrist here in Chicago, and they're talking about the mental health issues they're seeing cloud all over the city. They're saying it's happening like crazy, and suicides, and so many other things that are happening because people are feeling the pain of isolation. They're feeling this hurt of isolation. It's a real thing, and the more we act like it's not a real thing, I can just handle it on my own, is the more that we're really lying to ourselves. Again, we were never made that way. We shouldn't feel that we can't reach out. So the great thing is that God has given us a church. Not only a physical church, but there are people that are ready to help. The Bible's always said that the church is the people. So why wouldn't we use the people that God has given us? Why wouldn't we use them to the greatest capacity? And I gotta say, here at Hope Church Midway, we got some of the greatest people, and I love them. I mean, it's great to see people. It's great to talk to people. They love to encourage. They love to help. They love to reach out. This is what we have. And I'm grateful that we are a part of this. So they want to follow the model we find in James 2, 14 through 16. It says this: what good is it, dear brothers and sisters, if you say, have faith, but don't show it by your actions? Can that kind of faith save anyone? Suppose you see a brother or sister who has no food or clothing, and you say, goodbye and have a good day. Stay warm and eat well. But then you don't give that person any food or clothing. What good does that do? Well, why are we saying this? We're saying, well, it's not just saying, well, I'm a Christian, that's great. I'll be a Christian on a Sunday, or I'll be a Christian on a Tuesday. But no, we're constantly looking to help out one another. Jesus said the entire Bible is loving God and loving others. You do those two things, you've done the entire Word. And so we can't say that we love God, but we're not willing to help out another person. We're not willing to reach out to another person. And it goes far beyond just physical needs that people might have of food or clothing. There's also felt needs as well, emotional needs, spiritual needs. We're here to help out each other at all times. It's loving one another as you would want them to love you. And everybody's feeling this isolation, so everybody's in the same boat at different levels. So why wouldn't we want to help out with one another? We should ask for assistance because we don't have help because we don't ask. We need to ask. Otherwise, we're not going to seek any of it. So don't let pride prevent you from asking for help. The second thing we need to learn from Judah's example is that they were willing to help out as well. Now, this is important. Judah said, hey, if you help us out, we'll help you out too. We all have known people who ask for help but are hard to find when you need some help. And as Christians, that's not biblical whatsoever. But unfortunately, we've seen a lot of people that do that. They keep on taking and taking and taking and not wanting to help out. And God's wanting us to do something different. In fact, Jesus shows us to be a shepherd. He came right before the Last Supper. He came and washed the disciples' feet and said, this is what you need to do. You need to be this kind of a help to other people. Don't ever think that it's all about me and me being praised. See, Jesus, as the man of the hour, as the top person there, as the host there, he should have been treated really well and being put at the head of the table, and people should have been washing his feet. But no, he says, I want to help out others, and I'm showing you the example. And so we can't say that we're following Jesus' example, that we're being Christians if we're not acting like Christ. We can't say that. And so helping out in real ways and saying, I know that this is what I'm feeling, so I know other people have to be feeling this too. I want to reach out to them right now as well. This is what Jesus would do. It helps us. See, the Bible likens our relationship with each other to a body. Ephesians 4:15 says it this way. It says, instead we will speak the truth in love, growing in every way more and more like Christ, who is the head of his body, the church. He makes the whole body fit together perfectly. As each part does its own special work, it helps the other parts grow so that the whole body is healthy and growing and full of love. I mean, think about what it's saying here. It's saying everyone is doing their part. They're helping out the other parts of the body grow. So that the whole body is healthy, growing, and full of love. If we're not all reaching out and helping out one another, well, we're not going to be growing, we're not going to be healthy, and we're going to be full of anything but love. We'll be full of fear, we'll be full of anxiety, we'll be full of stress. We're not going to be full of love. We're not helping out one another. And that's what he said. This is what the church body is supposed to do. And we have to be willing to help. Willing to do it. Because again, it comes out of love, not out of duty, out of love. God loves me. I want to share that love with other people. That's the whole essence of it. And I want to reach out to other people. Not feeling like I have to call 50 different people so that I can say I've helped out somebody else. A lot of times, just one-on-one. And that's what God's asking us to do. Just start with one-on-one. Find one person and say, hey, I want to help out you. And can you help out me as well? I'll tell you, as a pastor, we're the worst at this. We are absolutely the worst. Every single pastoring convention I've ever gone to, you'll hear different pastors finally saying, well, there's an altar call now. You guys can go forward and get prayed for. And they're crying their eyes out because they don't talk to anybody else. We're the worst at this, which is horrible and unbiblical. But a lot of times we feel we have to minister to everyone, that we can have other people minister to us. We always have to be willing to help out. You have to say, well, I'm reaching out to somebody else, and I have to ask them to help me out as well. It doesn't matter who you are. God can use you. Why? Because you're a part of that special body. It has a special thing that only you can do. Only you can reach that person in that way, unlike anyone else. And if you allow God to use you in that way, you'll see God do great things. You'll be amazed to see what you can do together. Because Judah and Simeon helped each other, they were both victorious. It's important for us to see, because they weren't just saying, well, help me, and hey, take care of yourself. No, because they were both helping each other, they were both victorious. This brings us to the third lesson. When we try to fight alone, we'll miss the victories that are available. I said the other tribes, when they had all come together as one, they were able to do so many great things. They were able to take so much land. They were able to take and drive out all these other people that were doing horrible stuff in that land when they all worked together. But as soon as they went to their tribes, you could read the rest of Judges 1 and you start seeing, well, they weren't able to take out this person. They weren't able to take out this person. They weren't able to do this. They weren't able to do this. You see all these things they weren't able to do because they were trying to do it by themselves. They missed the victories that were available to them if they actually would have worked together. See, Judah and Simeon helped out each other there, but then they went back to their own selves again. So they helped out for a while. They saw great victories, but then they stopped. This has to be a part of our DNA. We have to continually look to help out one another. Continue to look to help to encourage one another. This has to be a part of who we are at all times. Not just hard times like we're in today. Every single day, the good and the bad. We need to help each other out, build one another up, or we're going to miss the victories that are available. It's not good for us to be alone. It's not healthy, and we're not as effective as we could be on our own. One of the craziest verses in the entire Bible is found in John 14:12. It says this, Jesus speaking, I tell you the truth, anyone who believes in me will do the same works I have done, and even greater works, because I am going to be with the Father. Now again, it's one of the craziest verses. When you stop and think about who is saying this, Jesus is saying this. You're going to do even greater things. Is that because we're greater than Jesus? Not by a long shot at all. No, it's because we're greater together. We have Jesus living in us. We have the Holy Spirit moving through us, guiding us, helping us out. With that and us working together, we can do great things that we can never do on our own. So these are the great things we can do together. Jesus is saying there's so much stuff that's going to happen when I'm working with you and the Holy Spirit's working through you. You're going to do awesome things, but the opposite is true as well. If we're isolating ourselves and trying to do it alone, we're going to miss the opportunities. If we're scared to share our needs for others, we'll miss out on opportunities. If we don't share our needs that we have there, we're going to miss out on the opportunities that God has for us. Opportunities for help with the different needs that we have that other people have. Physical needs, mental needs, spiritual needs. See, God has a great gift for everyone, and it is His church. Us really working like He's wanted us to do. I mean, I can't imagine how hard it would have been for the author of it as well. How he could have gone through the hurt on his own. I can't imagine how hard that would have been. Imagine if he would have let his pride prevent him from asking for help. Or tried to fight through the grief on his own. He would have missed the opportunities that God was trying to show him, the patterns, the love that God was trying to show him. He would have missed all these things. Now imagine if he took all the care that he was given, but not give it to other people in this song. I can't tell you how many funerals I've been to and heard this song. And it's a great source of comfort for people saying, I know where my loved one is. I know that my loved one was there with God with him all the way through. And even though I'm going through all this, He's going to work in my life. He's going to help me out right now. And all these other people around me, He's going to help them to help me as well. Why? Because I'm loving God and people are loving others. And I'm seeing what this is all about. My soul as well as a result of this. He didn't hold it to himself. No, he said, I'm going to take this help I'm giving. I'm going to give it to others as well. He went through these things. He saw what Judah did and learned these lessons as well. It's an amazing thing to see. Now, the author knew what Judah and Simeon knew. We weren't meant to be alone. We're in this together. We're in this life together. We're in this thing together. Every single moment we're in this together. Why? Because we're social creatures. It's not good for a man to be alone. You might be saying, well, how can I help not feeling alone when we're told to isolate? I mean, how am I not going to be feeling this? What do I do at this time to be able to move forward? Well, I want to encourage you. We're going to have a time of prayer right now. Tuesdays are always our prayer services. And we want to have a time just for you to pray. Last week we said, hey, when you're done, go ahead and have that time. But we want to have that time right now for us to pray together. And as we're praying, I want you to pray and say, God, who do I need to call? Who do I need to contact? Who do I need to reach out to? Because you'll be amazed, there are people that need you. Your special gifts and abilities. You are that special piece of the body that nobody else can do what you can do. And when you stop and pray and say, God, who can I reach out to? And I'm not just saying where you're reaching out to say, who can I help, but who can I ask to help me? How can I be open during this time? And ask God to be creative. You know, it's great the technology that we have is allowing us to preach to you right now. We also have, obviously FaceTime and things like that we can look to each other and try to connect in any way that we can. Why wouldn't we want to? Why not be creative? See what needs to happen. We had some friends of ours who I was talking to on Saturday, and they were saying, hey, well, there's this app, and you guys can do, quizzes, and you guys can, do games and stuff together, and trivia, and, we should check it out, we should do it. That'd be a great thing. And I'm like, man, that'd be awesome. Was to have some interaction. Man, I need some interaction with some people. That might seem so simple, but just having that opportunity to be able to talk, to connect to another person is great. You might say, well, is that a godly thing? Yes, showing love to another person, that's a godly thing. But it can also go way deeper as well, and I pray it would go something deeper. I pray that it would go to a part where you're saying, this is something I'm dealing with in my life, and during this pause, I've realized I need to take care of the sin that's going on. I need to take care of the sin that I've allowed in my life, and as I've been pausing and really thinking about God more during this time, this has been brought up, and I've been trying to deal with it on my own, but I need someone to pray with me to help me to get through this. Find that person. Ask God, who should I reach out to? God's given us all different people within the church for us to reach out to. We should use the body as it's supposed to be used. Maybe you're saying, I'm just feeling burnt out right now. I've been helping out with my kids and trying to do my job and doing all these other things. I just need someone just to reach out to, just someone to pray with me, to encourage me. Again, that's what the church is for. We're to encourage each other to do good works. We're here to reach out to one another, but we need to lift one another up. Maybe you're emotionally hurt right now. You're just emotionally white. Saying, I just don't even know what to feel anymore. Seek out that person. Now those who are watching might say, well, that's fine for the members of your church. I'm not a part of your church. I'm watching this, I'm a friend of somebody, or I found it online or something, but I don't really have that connection. Well, I pray that during this time of prayer, you would send us an email, hopechurchmidway@gmail.com. We'll connect you with somebody who would love to talk to you. You don't have to go through this all alone. God has given us opportunities. Don't miss the opportunities God has given us. God, we thank you so much. We thank you as we pause right now. God, help us to not be allowing our pride to get in the way of sharing what we need to share, of asking those great questions we need to ask, which is, who do I need to call? Who do I need to contact? God, I pray you would speak to us all today. God, everybody is going through so many different emotional, mental, physical needs right now, financial needs. So many people are going through so much stuff right now, God, that none of us can do it by ourselves. We're already made to be social people, but God, this is just really so amplified that need. God, I pray that you would speak to us this time as we're dedicating our time of prayer to you. Allow us to know the names, God, or allow us to get past our pride and send out an email. God, allow us to find people to connect with. God, this is what the church is about. This is a church at its finest moment. It's us loving you and loving others. So God, I pray you would work through me in great ways. Thank you for all that you're doing in Jesus Christ's name. Let us use this time just to pray and ask God, who do I need to contact with? Who do I need to connect with? Give me a name. Allow me to be honest right now.
You go before I know that you've even gone to win my war. You go out to heal.
we're never alone. You are always there for us. God, you choose to use other people. God, the people that are right now praying for wisdom, for guidance, for help, God, they're a part of your body. You're the head. You guide everything, Jesus, but the rest of us, we're a part of your body. We're here to help one another. God, I pray that we won't wait. Say, well, God, I'm just waiting for your answer. I'm waiting for your help right now. God, you're saying, well, I'm giving it to you right now. Pray and contact this person. Reach out to this person. Allow them to know where you're at. And don't just ask for them to help you, but ask for how you can help them as well. Allow that joining to come together. God, I pray that we can see so many victories are available, God, when we simply listen to your word, to love you and love others, God, and to reach out and to use the churches that we're supposed to be used. God, encouraging one another, lifting one another up, building one another up, and then sending out disciples, changing communities. But God, we can't help out others, God, if we're hurting ourselves. But God, you've given us the ability, God, to be strengthened. I pray that we would see that. I pray we wouldn't wait. And just say, oh, I'm just going to wait for someone else to call me. God, no, that's not what you want. You want us to be like Judah, to go out there and say, who do I need to contact? Who do I need to talk to? And he did, and he saw great victories, as Simeon did as well. God, I pray that we'll hear of great victories as a result of people connecting and calling out to you. We thank you so much. In Jesus Christ's name. I want to encourage you for a few things here at the very end. First off, we have a coffee house that's going to be available, a virtual coffee house. It's the first time we're doing it, where we answer questions about God, religion, and the church. It's going to be on the 22nd. And so if you have any questions at all, please email us at hopechurchmidway@gmail.com. Please let us know. We'd love to talk to you and answer any of your questions. We're not going to say your name or anything else like that. We'll just bring up the questions. We can have a good discussion. You might say, well, I'm not a member of the church, so I don't know how I can be invited to that Zoom meeting. Well, if you contact us, we'll make sure to give you the ID so you can join us in that Zoom meeting for the coffee house, May 22nd at 7 p.m. Also, if you're saying, I'd love to help support the church at this time, you have two ways that you can give. The first way is to mail in at 6059 South Archer Avenue. You can mail in that in Chicago, 60638. So feel free to mail that in. You also can give online. You just Google Hope Church Midway. If the first page that comes on, just go down and give. Scroll down to the bottom of the page, see Hope Midway offerings, and you just give right to there. That would be excellent. We would love any support we can get. It's a great way for us to help, to continue to give out and to reach out to the community. Very excited about that. Lastly, we want to let you know that we have a service, obviously at 10 a.m. On Sunday, so please check that out. And then next Tuesday, we have a special speaker, missionary Justin Morris, who's going to be speaking. So we're excited for that. God bless you. We'll see you on Sunday and see you Tuesday. Please send in those questions.